Hey everyone, thanks for coming out. And very exciting. What am I wearing the first time? I think ever a suit with a tie. Very nice. Pink shirt. I look great. Muy guapo. So here we go. Why am I wearing a suit? Well, first, I got this suit in Goodwill, $6. That's right. This thing's worth like 200. So I buy everything in Goodwill. But most importantly, USAID. And why am I wearing a suit? Well, wearing a suit because I'm being an expert witness in immigration cases. What the heck does that have to do with USAID? Big foreign policy, national security, soft power, you call it whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, whatever opinion you have. I respect everyone. US aid has been taken over by essentially the State Department. Elon Musk now huge influence within the Trump administration. A lot of debate, a lot of controversy. Why? Well, he wasn't vetted by any kind of Senate committee. But on top of that, he basically is just about tantamount to closing or at least replacing what we have as USAID. What does this have to do with all this? And Jose Figueres, the father of the modern day Costa Rica, socially oriented, land reform, voting rights, social security system, even getting rid of the military in Costa Rica. What does this have to do with all this? Well, I got a $50,000 grant from USAID over the summer to help resettle and create research oriented reports on the resettlement process of migrants in Costa Rica. Now, the question is USAID worth it? Well, people are going to just cherry pick what they think, first of all. If you really hate USAID, you'll cite evidence. Oh, look at this bad project. Well, everyone has a bad project, right? And then if you love USAID, you're going to say, well, without USAID, these people won't get medical attention, etc. But as someone who actually received a USAID grant, what is my opinion? Well, I usually don't work for the government because I see all governments as somewhat corrupt. But regardless, it was pretty interesting how USAID was interested in Latin American migrants, particularly Nicaraguans in Costa Rica, which neighbors Nicaragua after the 2018 protests and Daniel Ortega started cracking down on dissidents. Many people, like during the 1970s and 80s during the war, fled to Costa Rica. So Costa Rica is actually a middle income country, so USAID doesn't really do projects there. They just do it for the lower income countries. That's why they're a little nervous about getting rid of USAID or replacing it when it's very, very important to help people on the ground. So what I did, probably because it was a mid-income country and they didn't want any of their people getting killed. So I went there and did the research. Now, is USAID worth it? Well, it depends. I mean, what I did was an interesting report on how to resettle migrants in Costa Rica. That's very important to the United States government and focuses on the national interest as Mark Rubio was talking about, or Marcos, Don Marcos, there, you got respect, talking about the national interest by trying at least resettling migrants in Costa Rica, then they won't come to the United States. So you have that kind of national interest, right? Does USAID do only good things? No, it actually funds some pretty scurrilous groups in Venezuela, Sumate. Also, it has a history of not of meddling in people's politics, supporting Democrat movements, which is basically against governments we don't like. Do I hate USAID? No, I think that there are a lot of good services. It does. The question is, Rubio is making arguments saying I'm protecting the taxpayer money. However, the taxpayer with their money. However, there is an important question here. Why withdraw this money, right? And then will this allow our peer competitors, everyone from Iran, China, and Russia, to get a foothold into the countries from which we withdraw? So if you're looking from a national security perspective or a foreign policy perspective, global politics, etc., Does withdrawing U.S. aid and support give space to China, Russia, and other countries to come in? That becomes an important question. Now, a lot of people might say, well, they're already going in, but will they have now more space to do what they want? Isn't it better for the United States to have a foothold in these countries, not just through military, but through goodwill, which is part of soft power, and to show, oh, we deliver the goods. You see backpack with kids, that say USAID, etc. Why are people against this process of Trumpism? It's not just Trump. It's they're basically nervous about getting grants. Grants help universities. Uh, you know, they took a ton of money from me. In fact, they even said one of the emails I got wasn't even congratulations. It's like, Charles, you got a $50,000 grant, but the money you're supposed to get, that's, you capped your salary because my salary is not that high. So as a result, what we're going to do is we're going to take the money. So I didn't even get what I was supposed to get of that $50,000. I find that kind of scurrilous, right? Why not give it to me in travel or something else? But universities love these grants because they get such a huge part. And the question is it worth it for the taxpayer? It depends on the project, right? I don't really trust Marco Rubio with it, but then they'll come back and say, well, we don't trust you with it or other people. So the question is goodwill, well, we know goodwill's worth it. Is USAID worth the taxpayer money? Does it create goodwill throughout the world in the United States, right? Does it have good policies that support the national interest? I think from just a conservative national security policy, by addressing migrants in other countries and trying to help resettle them, is in the national interest. So then if you're very conservative, you're like, well, we need a wall and all this stuff. Well, that's another way to help resettle migrants in other areas that USAID has helped. If you're on the flip side of the coin, you might cite a project that you didn't like or thought was a waste of money, etc. Universities love this money because they get a huge part of it. Like I said, they not only got their fair chunk of my grant, but they said, because your salary is so low, what a bunch of cheeky bastards. They said, oh, we get more because you cap your salary at a certain rate. That was one of the first emails I got. So the problem with it is, you have to go through each case and see, is this worth it? Is it good that the Trump administration is firing a lot of these people? I don't know about getting rid of all these bureaucrats because they know how to make the system work. A lot of the FBI, for example, have been fired just for doing their job. They didn't do it. They didn't volunteer to do it in the FBI. They get selected to do it when they have no interest in a case on the January 6th. So what I mean is that they didn't volunteer and say, oh, I want to go prosecute the people involved in the January 6th insurrection or whatever, nonviolent protest, whatever you people decide. But they're selected in order to prosecute those people in those criminal cases like January 6th. And Trump, I think, fired a whole host of them. And these are going to be people that are difficult to get back. The hiring process is very, very long. Same thing with USAID. If you start firing all these people, let them go, etc., this can be costly for the state. So I don't know about removing all these bureaucrats. I think it is good to review USAID and what it does. But you have to remember it does support goodwill and spread the United States globally in a non-threatening way for a lot of people. So if we remove it, does that open more space for our peer competitors, everything from Iran, China, Russia, etc.? Now that will be for you to decide. So what's with the suit? Well, because I stayed in Costa Rica with the USAID grant to help resettle migrants, but it was very difficult because they weren't getting asylum because Costa Rica doesn't really like the Nicaraguans. Now, when Nicaraguans are here, they needed people who knew the Costa Rican laws against the Nicaraguans. So when they're here seeking asylum, I can help if I think that they deserve asylum. Meaning there are real political refugees out there that if they are deported to their home country, they will be killed or tortured or imprisoned. So that's why I'm wearing a suit, because I have to go to court and speak as an expert witness. And I also got a DUI and other things. No, I'm kidding you, that didn't happen. But it is true about the expert witness. And because I got the grant from USAID, it makes me more competitive in the area of being an expert witness. Very interesting. So the questions are, is USAID worth it? What cases and what investment that USAID does is worth it? Is it good to fire all these bureaucrats or have Elon Musk taking over certain agencies? Right? And by curbing USAID, does that hurt the national interest? Like right now, if I was going into this summer, I had the grant last summer, I probably wouldn't have gotten. So it's a very interesting case, and I respect everyone's opinion, but very important for national security, global politics, everything, foreign policy. So I'm going to be showing this to just about every class. So goodbye to me and my new suit. It'll probably be the only time you see me in the suit, unless I get in trouble again. Take care, everyone.